Everybody, we're gonna get started in, oh, I'm giving you a sneak peek. No, I'm just kidding. We'll be starting in a couple minutes. We're just discussing, by the way, please fill out in the chat your name, where you're from, and what your spirit animal is, because like that's all we communicate by is through our spirit animals. And I'll give you what mine is in the next slide. But yeah, Rachel, what's your spirit animal?
I'm gonna go with a lion.
Ooh,
I with that.
See how quick she got that? Okay, Maya, what's yours?
I'm gonna say a dolphin.
I love that. Dolphin. Good.
That fits.
That's a good one. How about you, Nick?
Yeah.
I think a goat.
A goat. Okay, I like goats. Goats are the
Wonder
coolest.
why.
I'm gonna like start.
Capricorn. So it kind of correlates.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the people. Oh my gosh, we have sloth, lizard. Oh, eel, spotted moray eel. Done. I love it.
Bailey, your dad commented he's a Papa Bear.
Why is it on here? No, I'm just kidding. But keep putting them in the chat what your spirit animals are, and if you have a reason why that is, I'd love to hear that. I'll tell you what mine is and why. Oh, an alpaca. An alpaca's a good one.
I like that.
And an otter's good. Oh, chameleon. Oh, that's really good. All of these are good. No matter what you say, they're good. Oh, I move very slow. That's the reason. Oh, owl. Sloth. There's been multiple sloths. Whoever sloths are on here need to connect. So you all can be sloth eco warriors together. There is a donkey. That's cool. We have people from British Columbia on here, from raised in Boston, but Honduran, Puerto Rican born, Boston, Hawaii, Oahu. This is so cool. Seeing where you guys are all from is so cool. Hedgehog. Whoever said hedgehog, hedgehog. Claire, you could be a hedgehog easily too. I think you have that personality. Oh, kookaburra. That's a good one too. I'm loving seeing all these. Seriously, keep going throughout the chat. Like when we're done talking, we're gonna have like 100 chats, and I'm gonna read through each of them to see what all of your spirit animals are, because this is too fun. Well, we can get started. I know a bunch of people are gonna be hopping on kind of as we progress, but my name is Bailey. I'm the youth coordinator for the Ocean Project. And like I said, keep the where you're from, what your name is, what's your spirit animal going, because there's nothing more important in life than knowing those couple of things. And by the end of this, we're all going to be lifelong eco warrior BFFs who are going to change the world together. So we got to start out with the most personal questions, which is where you're from and spirit animal, clearly. So like I said, my name is Bailey. I'm the youth coordinator for the Ocean Project. I'm from Pontiac, Illinois, which you'll be hearing a little bit about. And my spirit animal is definitely a rabbit, because I find my brain like jumping around. Like I'll be thinking about one thing and then I'll have to like go to the next, which is like rabbit-like. And I love vegetables and yeah, those are really the only two things. So that's why that's my spirit animal. So I am only going to be the MC. The people that you see beneath me, or however it's lined up, the other videos, they're the star of this webinar. And really the reason why we're doing this is because, if you're anything like me, you have probably been super bummed with all of the cool events, from things for Earth Day and other things being canceled or postponed. And I got to thinking, if all of these things are being postponed, that doesn't mean we can't continue these change-making conversations. It doesn't mean that we can't continue to connect, right? My favorite thing about going to events and meeting other amazing young people is that it's a community for me, and it's a community for all of us. And so I really hope this webinar can be that community, and we all are just going to be talking, sharing spirit animals, sharing ideas. And this isn't the only webinar. So in the next couple of months, we'll do this once a month, and it's about whatever topics you want to hear about. So this is just the first of so many, and I'm gonna stop talking or else I'll just like word vomit how cool everyone is, and you want to get to the good stuff. You want to get to the people who are after me. So without further ado, I want to introduce the 3 fearless leaders of many of Baltimore Beyond Plastic, Rachel, Maya, and Nick, who will be sharing a little bit about what they're doing in Maryland to stop the flow of plastic to our communities, to our oceans, to our forests, to our entire blue planet. And they're so cool. I just cannot wait for them to talk your ear off about what they've been doing. So without further ado.
Hi guys. So my name is Rachel Fink. I'm from Baltimore, and I'm a part of Baltimore Beyond Plastic and a senior in high school.
I'm Maya. I'm also a part of Baltimore Beyond Plastic. I'm a sophomore in high school.
Hello, my name's Nick. I'm also part of Baltimore Beyond Plastic, and I'm a senior. So should I start? Yeah. Okay. So basically, Baltimore Beyond Plastic started back in December 2016 with our founders, Claire and Mercedes. And they really were oriented around connecting youth into the political process, revolving advocacy efforts with waste and trash, climate change, economic inequalities, and health disparities that really evolve around environmental issues. And with that, we really stemmed and really focused on plastic pollutants, which we'll talk about later in the presentation.
So we've been doing a lot recently before the whole coronavirus thing. And one of the things that we did most in February was we got a big of young students from like 1st graders to 12th graders together to go to Annapolis, our state's capital, and rally for a build out with banned plastic bags. And it was a really awesome experience. There were so many people and that came out to support it. And then after the big rally, we went to the State House and we actually testified on the bill hearing in order to ban plastic bags. But as of right now, because of everything kind of just freezing, we haven't really made any movement on that. But that was one of the big things that we've done recently that was really awesome.
So then one of our other recent events was the Arts in Action Extravaganza that we hosted, which was basically kind of a concert. We had a bunch of people come together, listen to music. We had tablers from like 12 different organizations from around the city. And it was sort of just a really nice way to see like music and art and fun like brings everyone together. You know, it was people who may not have already cared about the environment, but they were listening to speakers anywhere from like congressmen or councilmen to poets who just thought that the environment was a cool topic. And obviously we can't do that right now, but I think it is, I don't know, so important to remember that people, no matter what they're passionate about, you know, want to have fun and want to connect art and community and passion with like getting stuff done.
So Rachel touched on some things we did this year. Maya really focused on our efforts more recently. But to touch base on what we've done in the past, we started off with the Styrofoam Ban, and we were really focused on getting it passed on the state. And we worked with Delegate Learman, who was the representative for Claire and Mercedes district, but it didn't really get much movement. So we continued to work on it, and it happened in the spring of 2018. We were able to pass the Baltimore City Styrofoam Ban, and 1 year later after that,
Oh. Yeah, so I guess Nick cut out, but 1 year after the Baltimore City ban, Nick, are you back?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
back. I'm back.
Nick, we were like, oh, what happened to him?
Yes.
Do we move on without Nick?
Okay, yeah, I don't.
Oh no, he was frozen
I
again.
know.
More City Styrofoam Ban. Am I choppy again?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
cut off just a little bit.
Okay. So basically, our first initiative was to work on banning styrofoam on the state, and we weren't able to push that successfully. So we thought it'd be more tangible and feasible to work in local government and get it passed in Baltimore City. And I think what really helped us was Mr. Trash Wheel. Mr. Trash Wheel is a trash collecting water wheel in Baltimore City in our harbor, and it really allowed us to collect statistics and the amount of pollutants that styrofoam really poses on the environment. And we were able to pass it in the spring of 2018, and then later, a year later, we were able to pass a successful statewide ban.
Yeah, and so obviously not all of those things are possible right now. So we wanted to talk about a couple ways that we can all get involved, even during the really whack pandemic that's going on. So one of which is just joining environmental organizations around you in your community, or huge international ones which are doing amazing stuff right now, or something like starting an art campaign. I've seen lots of really awesome artists around Baltimore right now making posters, artwork, poems. Currently on this chat is the love of my life, Akila Van Laura in Arizona. She's an incredible poet who uses poetry to talk about the environment. And you can also like write letters to your legislators. Obviously, the legislative session is kind of on break right now, which is rough, but they will definitely still appreciate your letters. Along with that, when the pandemic ends, you could think about organizing a strike or a rally. We love civil disobedience, or just being part of the Earth Day 50 climate strike online, which a lot of people are doing, and kind of showing up even though you can't actually go out.
Yeah, so our second point is to definitely be really prominent on social. And that's definitely one of my favorite ways to get involved, especially when you're stuck in your house. So we will show you later in this presentation our social media and our email. And so if you want to follow us on Instagram, we can add you to our email list, and then we'll just send you information on how you can get involved and kind of just stay active on the internet, because we can't meet in person or anything. That's definitely such an amazing way to get involved, especially in our time now. And then my second favorite way to get involved is with younger students in your school or in other schools. So Baltimore Beyond Plastic, we've branched out and gone into elementary schools and met with their green teams and different teachers in order to work with their kids. Recently, we made this video where kids talked about why they wanted to ban plastic bags. So I think those are two really good ways to get involved, to work with younger kids at your school, researchers, and use social media.
keep muting myself, so then I have to unmute them. You guys are so cool. Lauren and Claire, actually, I was going to mention, if anyone has questions, we'll be taking questions at the end. If you see the little thing that says Q&A at the bottom of your screens if you're watching, click Q&A and ask whatever comes to mind. It can be about their project, or it can be just kind of simple big picture questions. You know, how do you stay positive and things like that. So definitely put your questions there, and we'll be reading through those at the end. But Claire and Lauren, the other group, do you have any questions? I have a question, but do you have any questions for her?
We did have one question, Claire.
Yeah, so you'll hear about this later, but we kind of are working with writing legislation. So we were wondering if you guys could help share like how we could start a legislation like yours, and then we can help share how we started our legislation for your state.
I can answer that.
They're like, which one? Who? You, me, you? Okay, you.
Okay, if I cut out again, then I don't got it. But
We'll be like, stop. No, I'm just kidding.
So I think it all really started when we reached out to our legislators. Obviously, they're the pros, and they really know their way around not only like legislation, but like the loopholes. And it's really hard to avoid loopholes. So we always try to get connected with our legislators for the Styrofoam ban. On the city level, we got connected with Councilman John Bullock, who we were able to discuss the writing of the legislation. And then for the Baltimore City bag ban that we successfully pushed this year, we were in connections with Councilman Bill Henry. And it's also a matter of getting as many collaborative organizations by your side. For us, we have a great coalition of organizations that we've worked with for many years now. So it really kind of took the pressure off of us a little. But yeah. And also looking at legislation from other states, other jurisdictions, other municipalities, and you can kind of steal some of their language, because sometimes legislators are kind of intimidated to be the first to pass something. So if they see like, oh yeah, this place was able to successfully push a ban here, and so maybe we could steal some of their language and kind of copy what they did.
I'm still on mute. I have to unmute myself. That was awesome. That was a great answer, Nick. So just to kind of like digest that a little bit. So basically it was a matter of you having an idea, saying we want to ban X in our community, and someone just reaching out to the local decision maker and seeing what the next steps were. Is that kind of how it happened?
Yeah. So I think it was also like really influential because we were young people.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of young people involved. And I would say the amount of young people getting involved nowadays is increasingly larger. But yeah, I don't think legislators are opposed to meeting with the constituents at all.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt to ever send an email or give them a call.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sometimes I've spoke with different decision makers, different legislators, and I'm like, how did you not know about this issue? And they're like, no one told us. No one told us this was something you cared about. And so it just is a matter of letting them know why you care about something, and that, you know, they a lot of the times can help you figure out how to make that happen. My question actually bounces off of that is, were there any roadblocks? Like, were there any kind of brick walls that you had to get through that were unexpected? You didn't realize you would have to face that through getting through that process of banning styrofoam?
I guess I would say.
The barriers. Yeah.
I mean, it's politics, you know.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be some roadblocks along the way. I think the main thing were the opposers. The opposers were really strong. Like, they were really, how can I say this? They didn't really support it, so they had like some compelling arguments to not supporting it.
Right.
And for Baltimore City, we face economic injustice and like food deserts and stuff. So getting rid of styrofoam kind of increases the price on, you know, the type of packaging that people can use.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to think big picture about some of these issues, especially with plastic, right? It's, you know, there are large communities that rely on single use. I mean, look at the time that we're in right now with the pandemic, where single use right now is largely what's protecting everyone from the germs, besides COVID-19, but just germs in general. And so you have to think big picture, and sometimes that is realizing that the other side has a really valid argument as well, and kind of grappling with, you know, what you believe in, but also being empathetic towards what kind of the other side of that coin is. Maya or Rachel, do you want to add anything to that?
I wasn't there for the styrofoam ban, so didn't want to talk too much about that. But the plastic bag ban that we were currently working on in the state level, so it just got passed, but they made changes so that the paper bags, which are going to be sold instead, don't have a tax, or like they don't have a set price, which makes it hard because, you know, we don't want to make the paper industry explode because it's also not environmentally great. So I guess just kind of, I don't know, meeting in the middle can be really hard when it's like such a pressing issue. You know, we don't really have time to make these little like county by county adjustments. So
Yeah,
that can be
another huge issue, not huge, but an issue that we ran into throughout the plastic bag situation was, one of the arguments was, what about SNAP and WIC users? How are they, if they have to pay the extra 10 cents to get a paper bag? Some people might not be able to afford that every time they go to the grocery store. So I think that was one of the reasons why the 10-cent charge on paper bags was listed, but that was an issue that we kind of had to talk through.
Oh my gosh, I keep clicking to the next one. You never realize how many barriers until you go through them, right? You never think, oh, I had to think about that, you know. And it's a super insightful process if you're going through reaching out to a decision maker, going through the policy route. Are you going to do local policy, state policy? So you guys will see their emails at the very end if your question is not answered, or, you know, you're laying in bed tonight not playing Animal Crossing for the 5th hour in a row, and you think to yourself, man, I wish I would have asked that question. You guys will get to answer it, because you know, this is a process that a lot of people have considered going through, either banning or reducing consumption of something in your community. And not easy. And so if you have any questions for them or any tips because you've done it, definitely hit them up via email, social media, and you guys will get to answer your questions at the end. But I wanted to definitely save some time for this next group. So I wanted to introduce Claire Nee and Lauren Durham of Operation Endangered Species. Yes, that is a real alligator snapping turtle in their hands. They'll get to talk about how they have raised these beautiful, ugly, cute little dinosaurs into adults and put them back into the wild. Yeah, so without me talking anymore, Claire and Lauren.
All right. Well, hi, I'm Lauren Durham,
Hi, I'm Claire Nee.
and we are both from Pontiac, Illinois, which is in the middle of cornfields
Yes.
somewhere in Illinois. And I am a senior in high school.
I'm a junior. So we started our project with our focus on the Endangered Species Act and the changes that were being made to that. And then we found a different project that were discovered, created, that acted as an umbrella called 30 by 30, which we created the little motto that it's the efforts to conserve 30% in land and water in your state or in Illinois by 2030. So we ended up holding an OES summit that was for Operation Endangered Species and our 30 by 30 that we had just created. And we had 150 students from 7 different schools come to our own school, and we taught them about what we were doing and our hopes to create a legislation to be passed for the 30 by 30. And we just taught them what we were learning, and then we had them go and create postcards, learn about different other, like their school projects. And we just had this whole summit to learn and then create an action plan for what we wanted to do next.
And so what we did with the postcards was we had our English class actually come up with them, and they designed them to have our challenge accepted logo. And so we had over 2,000 postcards that were handwritten and sent out to our local legislators. And we later had a meeting with Representative Tom Bennett. We invited him to our school so we could explain, yes, there he is.
Yeah.
So we could explain to him our project and what we were doing. And we asked him, we said, okay, what is the best way to get in touch with you about something that is important to us? And he said, honestly, these postcards. And he pulled out the postcards that we sent to him from our summit. And he said, I love these. These are a great way to get attention. It's not something boring like just an everyday email. So it just gets a lot of attention, and that's a great way to reach out to legislators.
So then we started creating our own piece of legislation, and on February 27th, we went to our state capitol and testified on behalf of our Senate Resolution 1008 that our class and both of us had been working on to create the efforts for this land conservation that we want. So we went to the Environmental and Conservation Committee and presented with Jason Berickman and David Kohler, Senator Jason Berickman and David Kohler, who were our resolution sponsors, and just told them why we think they should vote upon it. And both of our sponsors for our resolution gave us more input on how they think that the student leadership of our project was a big deal on how they were going to listen to us and voted upon our resolution. So they voted unanimously on our resolution, and not only is our resolution going through unanimously to the Senate floor, it's also bipartisan because Jason Berickman and David Kohlers are both Republican and Democratic. And so the bipartisan of it was a big deal to both of us.
Yeah, and so what Representative Tom Bennett saw was he saw how important this bill was to us also, and he wanted us to write a new bill with the same intentions, conserving 30% by 2030 with a few minor adjustments, but we hope to be writing that bill very shortly, and we are working with another school on it as well. to help get them involved, and it's very interesting. We're looking forward to it.
So,
And then,
yeah.
you want to talk about it or you want me to?
So now our project has gone through, and we have 7 other different countries working with us to create their own way for their own resolution, or how they can begin to conserve 30% there. Which actually, we have a girl in Germany, Emily, and she's wanting her own like where she's from to.
She's from Virginia.
Yeah.
But she goes to school over at the Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. And so she's looking to start a bill similar to the one that we wrote. She wants to start it over in Germany and hopefully get that in the works soon. And she wants to also start it here at home in Virginia. And then we also have scouts in Brazil who we are working with. And so what we're doing with them is, it's kind of hard to pass a bill there. So they're having trouble with that. So we decided we were going to start and try to create a merit badge that they would earn for their efforts in like land conservation and water conservation. And so it's just a really cool way to get different people from around the world involved. And we've seen that people have loved it so far. So, all right, Claire. You want to discuss this?
So these are just some pictures from when we were speaking with Doug Holmes, who brought one of his own snapping turtles, which we have our own, not that big, but raising them in our classroom. And the project originally got started before us, but has continued since 2012. And we had, in Illinois, 0 alligator snapping turtles in the habitat. But now we have 527 thanks to help of us raising them and just the preservation of their habitat.
It's kind of hard to believe that when we got our baby alligator snapping turtles, they start out the size of like a quarter, and then they can get as big as that and even bigger. And so it's really interesting. We've gone to Peoria Zoo. They've gotten new alligator snapping turtles, and we've brought them back to our classroom to raise. We have elementary schools around just Pontiac and even outside of Pontiac that have joined in the program and are raising their own alligator snapping turtles in classrooms because they think it's just a really cool project and it's just a really cool way to get their kids involved.
So now we have begun, as we've begun to spread our own project of the land conservation for 30 by 30, we've had our own classmates with their projects, and one of them is a pollinator plot that has been given land to start the own habitat and pollinator plots for other species that are endangered. But overall, as an umbrella for our project, all of our projects, it's the preservation of the efforts to conserve 30% of land and water by 2030. So we had a billboard made to help out with that, and we highly encourage you all to contact us, contact your teachers, just begin to like conserve your own land, because if we don't, it's gonna
Bad things.
come worse.
Yeah, we need to protect our planet. No, okay, yeah, let's just all go get billboards. That's like next on my agenda for things to do. It's a billboard that says like protect our planet. I think that's like my next. But that's amazing. I did want to say it's so unique. You know, I come across a lot of youth-led projects all of the time, and they're all equally unique and amazing. But what I think is really great about this one is, you know, sometimes I think there's a tendency to kind of compartmentalize or silo the issues, you know, climate, ocean conservation, plastic, and really there's a string between all of them, right? And it's, we need to protect our planet, but biodiversity, right? And the protection of all life on this planet is so critical. it's a climate change issue, it's an ocean conservation issue, it's a plastic pollution issue. And so really, I do urge any of you who have not heard about, the greater 30 by 30 movement to look into it, because right now there's a lot of work being done to protect our planet. A, because we need to, but B, it's something really tangible we all can do, starting in your own backyard, which is what Lauren and Claire are doing. I do want to give the other group time to ask this group question. Nick, please, Nick.
Okay, cool. Oh, shoot.
Or Rachel, whoever.
No, Nick, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So my connection was kind of unstable again. So you guys are kind of frozen for me, but I don't know if you guys mentioned this, but how did you guys get connected with people in Brazil?
So they reached out to us first after we had our summit, and we're just kind of spread. And so that's also how we got involved with Germany.
Yeah, so our teacher likes to post us on his Facebook, everything we do, and he has traveled all over the place. And so he is friends with a bunch of different teachers and people from all over. And so one of his friends from Brazil, and we had kids from Brazil actually come to our school one year to experience Pontiac, Illinois, but they just saw what we were doing, based on what he had posted about us, and they thought it was really cool and thought it would be interesting to get a project going.
Yeah, they wanted to start it for them.
Yeah.
And just wanted our input and help to begin it.
Awesome.
Okay, now Rachel.
Okay. First of all, that's all ridiculously amazing. I love that it's international, and I love that you guys get to raise turtles. What? That's awesome. My question, it's cool that you, found a way to make your issue appeal in a bipartisan way. How do you suggest working on that?
If you're wanting to start it for your own bill that you want, we just found sponsors that were interested in what we had to say, and they helped us along the way write our resolution overall. But they both were just interested and so intrigued that it was student-led and totally created by us, our students. And they just wanted to get involved with us, so they both became our sponsor.
Yeah. And we did send out emails. We sent out a bunch of emails and a bunch of postcards. And some people were so intrigued with everything being handwritten or just everything being personalized that they reached out to us, and we were like, oh, can we know more? And so that was a great way to get that started as well.
Cool. Yeah, kids and animals, the two things that connect everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
What can you give an example of some of the things that you wrote in the postcard? Does it have to be I am serious, here's my facts, or can it be just I love this planet, please do something about it? What are we suggesting writing or emailing or calling?
One of the things I wrote was, I think I sent it to Tom Bennett actually. I was today on January 30th, we have all come together at our school for a summit to talk about this new project we are starting called 30 by 30, which is an effort to conserve 30% of land and water by 2030. And it is very important to the youth. We are rising up, so we would love to let you know more about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I basically said similar to that, but we just told them about our opinions and what we were doing that day to begin the whole process, and they just became intrigued.
That's awesome. Okay, we're gonna open it up to everyone's questions now. Can't wait to see what people asked. Okay, let me figure out. If you have questions for each other, please continue to ask them. I'm going to try and open the Q&A and see if I can somehow see them. Maybe I'm being non-tech savvy. Okay, maybe I have to stop for a second. Oh, yes. Okay, now I can see them. Okay, question and answer. What is currently bringing each of you joy in this really crazy life and world that we're living in. And it could be something super simple, or it can be kind of more in depth.
Say something.
So I know I live by like a set of woods that's near my house because we live in the middle of nowhere. We have cornfields everywhere. But I also have a woods right next to my house. So I've just been going out and like walking our trails and just getting outside for a little bit.
Honestly, I would say that this webinar is bringing me joy right now because I was really looking forward to doing a clean water celebration, which we do every single year at Peoria Civic Center, but it was unfortunately canceled because of COVID-19. But this is keeping me going.
Yeah, I was also looking forward to your clean water celebration.
Yeah, Rachel was
happening.
Yes.
To be there, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to the cornfields. I was so pumped.
Yes.
Yeah, no, taking walks has been awesome. Baltimore's weird because it's like a pretty dense city, but then we have this little like Sherwood Gardens, and it's got lots of tulips, and it just like shouldn't be there, and it's surrounded by houses. It's really pretty. Having picnics.
I guess I can go. I've kind of been doing the same. I've been trying to wake up every morning and go on a run. I live near a so that has kind of been keeping me going and keeping me outside and just something active. So that's bringing me joy right now.
Okay. My turn?
I didn't know if
Okay.
Nick was like thinking. He was like, what brings me joy? What brings me joy? Yeah, Nick, all you.
Okay. I think being out of school because of COVID-19, kind of iffy about it. But I think it's been really helpful with like, kind of building up my mental health.
Yeah, for sure. No, this is a time to really, I see a lot of people reassessing things and finding things that they love. Something that's bringing me joy, not that anyone asked me, but something that's been bringing me joy is reading more. I have this insane book goal. I'm hoping to read 25 books by the end of the year. And I don't know why I didn't do the math that's like 2 books a month. I just was like, yeah, 25, that's low but high. And that's 2 books a month. And so I'm really working my butt off to read during this kind of time to be indoors. And I'm reading a lot of good books, which actually leads me to the next question. Are there any books, movies that you particularly like or would recommend that give you inspiration, motivation to continue your activism, be that climate activism, be that the projects you work on, anything that you like to watch or read that gives you inspiration?
Raise my hand. I actually have it right here. This is like my favorite book ever, The Uninhabitable Earth.
Oh yeah, I love
that. 5 times. It me to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, like I learned some climate related issues. Like if I don't, like I'm gonna die, and I don't want to die. Like it scared me enough to get really involved like a few years ago. So yeah, I really love this book.
It's good.
I can answer. Okay. So I had the opportunity to go to Florida this year. And I was able to visit Clearwater Marine Aquarium.
Where Winter's at, right? Winter the dolphin.
What's that?
Winter the dolphin.
Yeah.
Without the tail. Yeah. I love Winter. That movie.
So it's for sure. So as far as movies, Dolphin Tale.
Yeah.
Really speaks to me.
That's really cool. Yeah, I haven't seen. I need to rewatch that. I hope that's on some streaming service because I do not have DVD capabilities. So fingers crossed it's on Netflix. Okay, how about you, Rachel?
Honestly, it's kind of dumb because it's a kid's book, but The Little Prince, my French teacher made me read it like this year. And I don't know if y'all read it, but it's a kid's book about a little prince who like visits a bunch of planets. It's really whack, but it kind of just like questions the system of like capitalism and like what has value like happiness or money and stuff like that. And I think that's lovely. And also, please, everybody watching, comment books, because I'm super bored and quarantined.
You
like,
guys answer these
please.
questions too. Please answer in the chat, because I want new books also. Okay, how about you, Lauren and Claire?
Oh, I don't know.
I
I was trying to think.
Honestly, I think we're very involved and we just don't have time to
I know.
read or do
You
anything.
guys don't have a 25 book goal? No, I'm just kidding.
No, not exactly. Maybe a
What
one
was
book
that
goal.
movie we watched?
I don't know.
While they think, if anyone is interested in movement building and how to build a movement, youth-led or otherwise, this book, New Power, is amazing. It talks about how successful movements, be it climate, be it social justice issues, it talks about how they build these really quickly with a lot of impact, positive impact. And so it's really fascinating. So New Power by these guys. I don't want to, mess up their names in case someday they watch this, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, one more question, and then I said we would only do this 45 minutes, but oh my gosh, there's so many good questions. Okay, here's a really interesting question. How do you, these projects, right? You have a great idea, but sometimes, unfortunately, money comes into play, right? You don't have the money to maybe travel to your state capital or even just get postcards made. How do you guys deal with the question of money? And, what are ways that people, who have these similar ideas can get equally involved without kind of this huge amount of money, because this is life, and like sometimes that's just not how it is. So you all don't have to answer this question. If one person wants to answer it, that works too.
No, we can answer. So we got a lot of grants for beginning with OES, and we ultimately had like $10,000 worth of grants. So we've been using a lot of that for some of it, but overall we haven't used that. Like, I would say we haven't used that much because we've just been outreaching, and it's all been grants too. So like we've just been reaching out to other like local businesses, and they've been supporting us the whole way.
Yeah. How hard is it to write a grant? Or even how do you find grants? Because maybe that's like even the first barriers. How do you find a grant?
We just started reaching out.
Yeah,
we just started researching. We just started researching.
Yeah, that's super valid. The internet is a wonderfully vast place. So it was just a simple environmental grant, students, and that's how it happened?
I mean,
yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. No, the reason why I ask is I think a lot of people have this misconception that, and don't get me wrong, grant writing is its own art form in a lot of ways, but finding grants, I think people have the misconception that maybe it's really difficult, or you have to be kind of in the know or in some circle or something in order to find grants. Do the other group want to answer?
I can say something on that. So Baltimore Beyond Plastic, we actually do get funding from the foundation. But part of the funding that we get is to give schools money if they want to convert into green schools. I don't know how it works exactly, but a lot of schools in Baltimore are green schools, and through the foundation that we are kind of affiliated with, they can get some money because they're a green school. So if you guys are trying to figure out how to get money, you can reach out to teachers or your principal or someone in your school to find out if there's something like that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Also, we thought about when we had the Art in Action event, consider maybe selling tickets, because a lot of the musicians were down to do it for free for a good cause.
Oh,
And we had an artist there selling her art, and just like, and I know a lot of times there are people that are willing to just help out.
yeah,
Sometimes crowdfunding is the way to go.
yeah.
Mhm.
That totally makes sense. Well, keep the questions coming, because if you guys put them in the Q&A, I can send them and then respond back. And you guys will all be receiving this recording. And for the people who didn't make it, they'll receive the recording too. But something that I always like to leave off on is this final question. And if you're still watching, I know we're over 45 minutes, but if you'd like to answer this, please put it in the chat too. But I always love to hear, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, the entire world for 30 seconds listening to you, what would you say? And I always like to leave it off that way, because I think the answers are always really empowering. So I can start. If I had the world's attention for 30 seconds, I would encourage everyone to lean into love. Love life, love the people, love our planet, love every tiny baby animal out there, insect, creature, bug, zombie snail, everything on this planet. Just lean into that love, because I promise you can't go wrong if you lead with a loving, empathetic heart. And I truly believe that at that point you'll start to see the world a little bit more brighter and optimistic.
I would probably say that it's something our teacher always says, but we are borrowing this earth from our children, and so we need to think about that every day and think all of our actions, like, they all have consequences, and we just need to think about everything we're leaving behind, and we just need to think and make sure that it's something good that we want to leave behind for the people in the future that we know will love eventually.
Yeah. Lauren kind of said mine, but just I kind of point out, take a look at the environmental effects of everything and just begin to like step outside and just look around, like, because you'll see so many different things you haven't noticed before.
I would tell people that they're capable of doing so much more than they think, because I know so many people don't think that they can make change in their city or their state or their community, but they can. So I would just tell people to really research and just know that they can make change.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with everyone else. I'd probably say like that life's short. So, you know, live up to what you want to be, do everything to the best of your ability, go out, have fun.
Dramatic pause. He has the world's attention. He wants to really hone it in.
And at the end of the day, you know, it's our earth and life's already short. Why make it any shorter?
Yeah.
Well, Bailey, this is big pressure.
I know. You do have the world. It's, look at everyone on this
Yeah, it's massive.
webinar.
I guess I would say, like, especially right now and for our generation, we have the climate crisis. A couple months ago, we thought we were going to have World War III, and right now we're in like the first pandemics in the last 2 or 3 centuries. So I feel like, you know, right now it feels like nothing can faze us. But at the same time, even when this crazy, like, unexpected stuff happens, the most valuable thing right now is community.
Yeah.
And like not selling out your community and your earth and your human family for money or anything else that society tells you is valuable.
Yeah.
And also wash your hands.
Wash them hands.
Wash your hands.
That was good.
That's awesome. Well, I will share the contact slide with everybody. Please get in touch. I will also put up a poll because, like I said, this is going to be a continuous thing. And so the next webinar is whatever you want it to be. So just let me know. There are some topics in there that I've heard from people that might be of interest. So definitely check it out and let me know what you want to hear about. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your lives to be with us this evening or this morning, whenever you're watching this. This is already you taking action, right? Educating yourself is one of the biggest things that you can do to move the needle forward. And I really do encourage each of you to share what you've learned from this, share what you know with everyone around you, and just know that if you're putting on your pants every single day going, I'm going to do what I can with the time that I have, with the resources I have, to change and make this planet a better place, I promise you, you are. And our planet thanks you for it. Trust me. You just listen, look around. It's thanking you. So definitely screenshot, take pictures, email us, connect with us, continue to chat. We're a community. Like Rachel was saying, this is a community right here. And even though maybe you can't tap into that community down the street at your favorite coffee shop or wherever you find community in person, that doesn't mean we can't continue that online. So definitely lean into that. Talk, chat, email us. And I hope to see you again next month for whatever topic you choose. Have a great day. Have a great night. This webinar, by the way, I will send out to everybody. You'll have it so you can share with the people in your lives if you thought it was particularly empowering. And definitely, yeah, share. It's so weird. Share us with your friends. I don't know. Definitely share this if you're interested. And also email me if you have any ideas of other speakers maybe we would be interested in having. So like I said, have a great night. Have a great rest of your day. And we will see you soon. Hopefully.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.